Hello everyone. Greeting of the day. I, Mrs. Usha Vasani, welcome you all to RKC Online Social Studies class. Today we are going to revise chapter number 13, Natural Disasters. I have divided this chapter in two parts for better understanding. So we will cover up few disasters in part 1 and few in part 2. So let's get started. Students, I hope you remember what is the meaning of disaster. Let me explain you that first. That any event or fact that has unfortunate consequences is known as a disaster. Natural disasters are events caused by natural forces, and these disasters wreck life and property when they strike. There are several types of natural disasters. So in this chapter, we will be discussing some of them. A disaster is mainly a sudden, you can say a calamitous event that seriously disrupts the functioning of a community or a society and causes human, material, economic or environmental losses. Though often caused by nature, disasters can have human origins also. So in this chapter, we are going to discuss about the natural disasters. But basically, in today's learning, we will first understand the difference between man-made disasters and natural disasters. We will also understand in detail about three disasters, that is natural disasters of course, earthquake, volcanic eruptions and floods. How are they caused, or what are the precautions to be taken during and after the disaster has taken place. So this would be today's learning objectives of today's learning, that we will basically talk about three natural disasters: earthquake, volcanic eruptions and floods. So let's begin first with understanding the difference between man-made disasters and natural disasters. There are two types of disasters: natural disaster and man-made disaster. Let us understand what are natural disasters first. Natural disasters are caused by natural forces. The examples of natural disasters are earthquakes, tsunamis, floods, landslides, hurricanes, wildfires, droughts, volcanic eruptions, etc. Steps can be taken to minimize the effect of natural disaster if we, the human beings, become a little responsible and considerate towards Mother Nature. Let us understand what are man-made disasters. Man-made disasters are caused by the activities of man. Examples: hazardous material spills, explosion, chemical or biological attacks, etc. Man-made disasters can be avoided with careful planning and prevention methods. In this video, we will study about the earthquakes. What is an earthquake? How does it occur? What precautions should be taken? How to measure its intensity? And we will see what are the effects of earthquake when it strikes. We will also see few pictures in the past when earthquake had occurred in few places. Children, earthquakes constitute one of the worst natural hazards, which often turn into disaster causing widespread destruction and loss of human life. The effects of earthquake vary upon the magnitude and intensity. Earthquakes occur every now and then all around the world, except in some places where earthquakes occur rarely. The devastation of cities and towns is one of the effects of earthquake. Now let us see what is an earthquake. You can see a man in mere helplessness who is being trapped under the debris. This is just a picture of one man which I am showing you, but there were many people, thousands of people who were under the debris in many of the earthquakes which has taken place in past few years. Let us understand what is an earthquake. An earthquake is a natural disaster which causes the surface of the earth to shake and tremble. This may result in minor or sometimes major damages such as loss of human and animal lives, collapsing of buildings, bridges and roads, breaking or uprooting trees, etc. Now let us know that how does or what is the reason for causing an earthquake. Most earthquakes are caused when there is a buildup of great pressure inside the earth. The surface of the earth is made up of interlocking plates of rocks which float on the semi-liquid layer called mantle. When two floating plates collide, means it dashes with each other, the vibrations or tremor passes to the earth's surface, and that is what we know it as an earthquake. Earthquake prediction is usually defined as the specification of time, location and magnitude of a future earthquake within stated limit. But some evidence of upcoming earthquake are unusual animal behavior, water level in wells, large scale of fluctuation of oil flow from oil wells, foreshocks or minor shocks before major earthquake, temperature change, uplifting of earth's surface. Sometimes change in seismic velocity also can be predicted as the evidence of upcoming earthquake. Children, now let us see what can be the effects of an earthquake. Students, there are two important terms related to earthquake. One is focus, that is hypocenter, and the other is epicenter. Let us understand one by one. Focus. Focus is the point on the fault. The fault is a geological term where rupture occurs and the location from which seismic waves are released. Now what is epicenter? Epicenter is the point on the Earth's surface that is directly above the focus, the point where an earthquake or underground explosion originates. Let us understand in simple words. The area inside the earth where rocks bend and break is the focus of the earthquake. The point on the earth's surface directly above the point of origin of the earthquake is the epicenter, where the effect or the tremor is the greatest. The effects spread around the epicenter in a circular motion and become weak as they move away. So, the place which has the epicenter suffers extensive damage. Children, now let us understand one of the very important causes of earthquake. There can be loss of life and property, Damage to transport system, that is roads, railways, highways, airports might get damaged. Damage to infrastructure, that is the buildings might fall down. Chances of flood, as the dams might develop cracks on its walls. Chances of short circuit. Chances of damaging the telephone wires, water pipes, sewers are disrupted. Economic activities like agriculture, industry, trade, and transport might be severely affected. Let us understand some more effects with the help of pictures. Children, listen carefully that what could be the safety rules or the precautions taken during the earthquake or just soon after the earthquake has happened. If you are in house, don't use lift for getting down from the building. Be prepared to move with your family. If you are in shop, school or office, don't run for an exit. Take cover under a desk or table. Move away from window glass, means you should not stand beside the window. Do not go near electric point and cable. Keep away from weak portion of building and false ceiling. If you are outside, avoid standing beside or under high buildings, walls, power lines and other objects that could fall and create block. Don't run through streets. If possible, move to an open area away from hazard, including trees. And if you are in vehicle, stop in a safe open place. Remain inside your vehicle. Close window, doors and vents. Children, these are the few precautions which one should take during or very soon after the earthquake has happened. In this session, we will learn about another natural disaster, and that is volcanic eruptions. We will talk about its birth. We will begin the session by knowing what is volcano, how are the volcanoes formed, meaning what are the factors responsible behind its formation, what is the anatomy of a volcano, types of volcanic eruptions, types of volcanoes, few examples of its types. We will see and know with the help of example its positive and negative effects and the precautions to be taken after the volcanic eruption has occurred. So students, today's session is going to be very thrilling. Don't move from your places and listen to the explanation carefully. Now let us begin with the introduction on volcanoes. A volcano is a mountain where lava, that is hot liquid rock, comes out from a magma chamber under the ground. Most volcanoes have a volcanic crater at the top. When a volcano is active, the materials come out of it. This material include lava, steam, gaseous sulfur compounds, ash and broken rock pieces. Today, worldwide, 50 to 60 volcanoes erupt every year. Now students, you must be wondering, what does this lava mean? What is magma chamber? What does the volcanic crater mean? What is the material which comes out of it? What are gaseous sulfur compounds, etc., etc.? You must be full of questions that what is Madam trying to tell us? So What is volcano? An opening in the Earth's surface through which lava, hot gases, and rock fragments erupt. Now, how are these volcanoes formed? Let us see what are the factors that help it to form or which factors affect its formation. Let us see turn by turn and know about it. How do they form? Magma 50 to 100 miles below the Earth's surface slowly begins to rise to the surface, means slowly begins to come upward towards the Earth's surface. As the magma rises, it melts gaps in the surrounding rocks, means the rocks which are beside each other has a little spacing between each other, but as soon as it starts melting, all these rocks become one, means it starts melting and turns into semi-solid form. As more magma rises, a large reservoir, means the collection, forms as close as 2 miles below the surface, that is magma chamber. Students, now there is a pressure from the surrounding rock and causes the magma to blast or melt a conduit, that is a channel, to the surface where magma erupts onto the surface through a vent, means the opening. So we first saw that 50 to 100 miles below the Earth's crust, when there is a lot of heat accumulated, slowly the rocks start melting and start coming closer to each other and form a large reservoir. When this reservoir is formed, there is lot of pressure due to heat, and due to that pressure the magma erupts onto the surface through an opening called vent. There are also different types of volcanoes. Let us understand one after the other. Basically, there are three types of volcanoes. One, the first type, that is extinct volcanoes. Second is a dormant or sleeping volcanoes. And the third and most dangerous ones are the active volcanoes. Children will understand one after the other different types of volcanoes. Let us understand what are extinct volcanoes. Extinct volcanoes are the first type, and they are volcanoes which have extinct since years, or they are known as dead volcanoes. They have not erupted for thousands of years and probably will never erupt. For example, Mount Kenya in Africa. Mount Kenya is the highest mountain in Kenya and the second highest in Africa after Kilimanjaro. Students, now let us talk about dormant or sleeping volcano. No eruption within recent times, but there is record of past eruptions. Can become active and erupt again after a wake-up period. The best example for this type of volcano is Mount Fuji of Japan. Japan is the place where people consider Mount Fuji as a pilgrim site, and it is considered one of the Japan's three sacred mountains. The most dangerous are the active volcanoes, which make up the third type, has erupted within the recent time and can erupt again at any time. The best example of this is Mount Etna in Italy. Now, What are the pre-eruption activities? Pre-eruption activities means the signs wherein you can make out that within no time there might volcanic eruption take place. They are increase in earthquake activity under the cone, increase in temperature of cone, melting of ice in the crater, swelling of the cone, steam eruptions, minor ash eruptions, and these are the pre-eruption activities. So the most dangerous ones are the active volcanoes. Let us talk about the third natural disaster, that is floods. Now, what causes floods? A flood occurs when the amount of water in a river or stream exceeds its capacity to carry water. In India, flooding is common during the monsoon season when rivers overflow and almost submerge the areas alongside. Basically, flood is a natural event or occurrence where a piece of land that is usually dry suddenly gets submerged underwater. Some floods can occur suddenly and recede quickly. Others take days or even months to build and discharge. When floods happen in an area that people live, the water carries along objects like houses, bridges, cars, furniture, and even people. It is so disastrous at times that it can wipe away farms, trees, and many more heavy items. What are the causes of floods? Mainly there are few causes like heavy rains, failure of dam, inadequate cross drainage works, river overflow, or strong winds in coastal areas. What are the effects of floods? A flood causes huge damage to life and property. Huts are washed away, as are livestock and human beings. Let us talk about some of the precautions which we need to take during the floods. Turn off all electrical appliances. Do not throw garbage into drains and rivers. Leave the area before it gets too late. Do not drive through the water as moving water. Check the history of flooding before building a house. Stay away from power lines or broken power transmission cables. Try to keep away from flood water as it may contain chemicals or other hazardous material. Students, this is all about today's learning. Today in this video, we discussed and revised about earthquake, volcanic eruptions and floods. I hope you must have revised it thoroughly and hopefully I have been able to reach to each one of you. So we end up today's learning here. Thank you and stay safe. See you soon with another learning video. Till then, keep learning.